on.
Hey guys, Big D here at Horoscope, where I review, and in this case, rank my favorite horror movies. That's right, we're doing a ranking video. Today, I'm going to be ranking the Pumpkinhead franchise from least to most favorite. Now, this is going to be a lot different than my review videos. Now, before we get started, I just have a few quick notes to mention. First off, these are just my opinions, guys. This is my list. This is not the right list. Please post your list and rankings of these movies down in the comments. Secondly, I'll probably do another ranking in about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I'll rank the Jeepers Creepers trilogy. In between there, I'll do some reviews and recommendations. Lastly, my criteria for judging these movies includes how well it's made, like the writing, directing, acting, etc., how much it tries, how much it succeeds in what it's trying to do, the quality of the effects, whether practical or computer generated, and 5, how fun or entertaining it is to watch. Also, to be fair, I'll be sure to name good things about the movies I rank low. Alright, let's get to the rankings. Number 4. Coming to number 4 for me is Pumpkinhead 3, Ashes to Ashes. Alright, this is probably the weakest film in the series for a number of reasons. First off, there are a few sequences in the movie where they use CGI, and man, it just looks terrible. It looks like it literally looks like it's from a bad video game. It's literally that bad. The acting from the minor characters is also pretty bad. Also, in all the sequels, besides excluding the original, but in all the sequels, 2, 3, and 4, the filmmakers rely on this kind of effect where it's a POV shot, where we see through the monster's eyes. It's like a red tint. It kind of feels unnecessary and a little distracting. Good things about this movie? Well, there's Lance Henriksen returning from the original. You have Doug Bradley, who's best known as Pinhead in the first 8 Hellraiser movies. In all of the movies, the Pumpkinhead practical suit that they use is actually pretty good. And the kills and gore is pretty solid. Alright, number 3. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Pumpkinhead 4, Blood Feud. Now, both these 2 movies were filmed back-to-back and released on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2006 and 2007, I believe. So let's get to the negatives. Like the previous one, it does use there are a couple shots where they use CGI. It's bad, but not as bad as in part 3. The acting is still pretty bad. They still use that POV shot, just not as often. Now, the good things about this movie is some of the supporting characters. You have a sheriff and the 2 fathers of the 2 feuding families. They actually do a pretty solid job. You got Lance Henriksen coming back from part 3. You also get a big increase in the gore. Man, it's gnarly. So if I were rating these movies, I'd give part 3 a 3.5 skulls out of 5, and part 4 a 4 skulls out of 5. So, number 2 is going to be Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings. This one was released direct-to-video in 1994. So let's get to the negatives. There was a fairly tame sex scene in this movie, which I questioned, why was it even included? It just seems like it was included for horror fans. They do use some of the POV shots, but they don't use it as much. I do now, good things about this movie, you got Andrew Robinson, who played Larry Cotton in Hellraiser. He's also in Child's Play 3 as the barber, so that's pretty cool. His wife, his daughter, and the coroner, they all give out pretty solid performances. And even some of the daughter's friends are pretty cool. But the boyfriend of the daughter he starts off as kind of your bad boy and then becomes really unlikable. So it's, I think, it kind of helps the movie when he does eventually die. I'd probably give that one 4.5 skulls out of 5. But my number 1 movie, no surprise, the original Pumpkinhead. Released in 1988, the only film I believe that was directed by Stan Winston, guy who made the dinosaurs in the first 3 Jurassic Park movies. Lance Henriksen probably gives one of his best performances in a horror movie ever since Aliens. I really have no negatives for this movie, guys. It's a cult classic. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to give this one a solid 5 stars out of 5, guys. I highly recommend you watch the original. If you want to watch the sequels, go ahead. That's going to do it for me today. Join me next time when we look at probably one of the best remakes out there, Let Me In. But until then, this has been Big Deal with Horoscope. Stay safe.